What's up guys, it's your girl Abby and I'm back with another video. I am so glad that you guys found my channel. Today we are going to be talking about breaking our habits, but before we get into that, I kind of want to set the mood. I am an essential oils type of girl. My mom put me on essential oils from when I was younger. And to be honest, my mom used to diffuse essential oils around the house, and I used to think it was like kind of annoying because some essential oils have really strong scents, but I have gotten into it now, and so I'm always like diffusing some type of essential oils. Anyways, today I have water in here already, and I think I have lavender already. Lately, my favorite thing to put in the diffuser is bergamot. For some reason, bergamot, like, I don't know, it's so good. So I'm gonna put a couple drops of bergamot. I usually do like a little, like maybe like 3 drops of each because I like to mix different ones. So we'll do bergamot, and I have lavender already, lavender, bergamot, and I want something to like lighten it up a little bit. So maybe some orange, something citrusy. That's rosemary. Rosemary is good, but it's like, ooh, lemongrass. Okay, lemongrass or orange? What do we want to do? I really like lavender. Where is my orange? Okay, so sweet orange or lemongrass. Let me smell the orange. 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 You guys can probably tell I look a little disheveled right now, but honestly it's because I've been on set all day and I just got home and wiped my makeup off, and so this is the result of wiped makeup. It's like half makeup, half natural Abby. But anyways, I also made a promise to myself that YouTube would not be for aesthetics for me. Obviously aesthetics in a certain way, but when it comes to like my presentation and my beauty, I don't want YouTube to be like a place where I come on with like full glam hair done, because I know when I had my YouTube channel before, that was honestly like a thing for me. It was like I wouldn't go on camera unless I had like full face of makeup, or my idea of full face, and hair done. So that's not going to be the case. Aww, my puppy's here. That's my cat, Kauai. Anyways, we're getting distracted. Okay, so let's let that diffuse. Oh, I need to plug it in. Hold on. Here we go. Plugged in. Let's let the aromas take over. And this one actually lights up. I don't know how it's gonna look on. Oh yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. Okay, so anyways, okay, you can't have essential oils too close to you. Like, you can't be inhaling the essential oils directly. See, it's like too strong right now, because honestly essential oils are really potent, if I'm being honest with you, and they're good. Like, that's why you only need a couple drops. A couple drops goes a long way, but it really does help like set the mood. And like, anyways, we can go into essential oils a different day if we want to. Okay, so today we are talking I keep getting interrupted by this guy. Do you want to say hi, Bobby? Do you want to say hi? You might not like the essential oils. Okay, so talking about breaking our habits, I know a lot of people around my age, let's say mid-20s, are really in a stage of life where we are all kind of just in this stage of growing. We're kind of coming into our adulthood, and we're realizing that we're no longer kids. We kind of have to get serious with life. I don't really like getting serious, but you have to take things a bit more serious when it comes to the direction that you want to go in, and that direction being, how you see yourself when you're older, how you want to live, what kind of lifestyle you want to have, and that kind of thing. And when we go down that road of seeking growth, we also realize that we have some of our habits that we probably need to break. Some of our habits are not going to carry us into that season that we hope for in our later lives or in our near future. And so I want to give you guys 3 tips on how you can break your habits. The first tip being that we need to have tunnel vision. Tunnel vision is super important. What that is like being hyper focused on that goal that you have. Tunnel vision is seeing the goal, envisioning the goal that you have, and completely disregarding everything else, right? It's just focusing 100% on that goal. And so it's really saying, I don't care what people have to say about it. I don't care what people's comments are. I don't care what they think of me. I don't care how crazy I look or how weird I sound. I have this goal, and there's nothing that can stop me from achieving that goal but myself. That is really what tunnel vision is. And I think that's the major way that we can break our habits, right? Because when we focus on the goal that we have, that serves almost as like a motivation to keep working towards that goal. A lot of times we know better, we know that we want to do better, but we get discouraged along that journey. You know, sometimes we say, well, is it even worth it? Like, there's so much work that I have to do, and there's so many things that I have to change. Is it even worth it? Let me just go do what I was doing before, right? And so having that tunnel vision is saying, even when those thoughts come in, I know that this is where I'm going, and so I'm going to have these thoughts and I'm going to feel them. I'm going to still move through those thoughts. I'm moving through it to get to where I need to get to. And having that tunnel vision allows us to just, it's like hyper focus on where we need to go. Put on your shades with the blinders, like those horses in like those racing horses. Put those glasses on and have tunnel vision, because I personally believe that's the only way you will ever break a habit, is like being hyper focused on that new goal. Envision yourself as that person. So let's say you want to be, I don't know, a more productive person. Let's just say like you start your mornings maybe a little bit late in the afternoon, and you want to change that. You want to be a morning babe. You want to wake up in the morning and get more things done, right? Forget about everything else. Forget about what anybody has to say. For some people, maybe they work well in the afternoon. For some people, maybe waking up at 5 p.m. is beneficial. Whatever, that's not you, and that's not the goal that you have. You focus on waking up at 8 a.m. and starting your day, right? Doesn't matter what people have to say. That's your goal. That's the only thing that you're focused on. When your alarm goes off at 7:50 and you feel like hitting snooze and you feel like going back to bed, put on that tunnel vision and say, that is my goal, and so what do I need to do in order to get to that goal? I need to get out of bed. I don't feel like getting out of bed. Well, my goal is to get out of bed, and so that's what I have to do. Put on those tunnel vision glasses. Okay, the second tip that I have for breaking a habit is avoid feeding the flesh. And I know for some people, they're like, what are you talking about? We're not eating. Like, what are you talking about, flesh? Let me tell you. The way that I think of life or humans is in two separate forms. We have our flesh, which is our vessel, our body, our humanness, right? This is my flesh. The body that I am moving in every day is my flesh, but I also have a spirit within me, and the spirit within me is my soul. It's my essence. It's what God created. It's the being that God created, right? And I also believe that our soul, our spirit is connected to God, right? And that's why sometimes, when we talk about like gut feeling, I think that's almost like our gut feeling is almost like a soul feeling. Like it's that connection to a higher power, that connection to God, that it kind of has that communication. And so in order to break a habit, we have to lean more into our spirit than we do on our flesh. A verse that I find really helpful is Corinthians 3 verse 9, and it says, "Do not lie to each other, since you have taken off your old self with its practices and have put on the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge and in the image of its creator." And so I think that really applies to us breaking our habits, right? We have to take off our old self and our old practices and put on our new self that is in the image of our creator, right? And that's what I mean by moving away from our flesh and into our spirit, right? Like I said, that spirit is connected to God. We have that kind of like soul connection, that spiritual connection to God. And so it's putting on that new self, and that new self is going to come with new practices. When we are called to break a habit, it doesn't just come from anywhere, right? We are on a journey of life, and sometimes in our journey we randomly get this like urge to be more productive, or urge to focus more on the relationships we have, or maybe to lean more into the romantic relationships we have in our life, or maybe the more platonic relationships or the community relationships. Whatever it is that you're being called to do, you aren't being called to do it for no reason, right? So when we're called to break a habit, it isn't merely just, your thought and your idea, right? Like, ideas come from God. I believe ideas come from God. And so when you have an idea to break a habit, that doesn't necessarily come from your flesh. It comes from your spirit, right? And so we have to let go of our fleshly desires, right? Like, our flesh wants to stay in bed till 10. Our flesh doesn't want to wake up in the cold morning and get in the shower and get our day started. Our flesh doesn't want to do that. But when our spirit is calling us to change our ways, to do new practices, we've got to lean more into that, and understand that spirit calling isn't just random. It's actually connected to our creator. And the way that I think of it is like, our creator, God, has our best interest at heart. And so when we get these nudges, when we get these intuitive nudges or anything like these callings, right, it's really God knocking on the door and saying, hey, I need you to do more of this. Hey, I need you to focus in this area or this area, because I see how I can use you in these spaces, right? And so we have to stay away from leaning into what our flesh wants, because the desires of our flesh only serve our flesh, right? That's the thing. The desires of our flesh only serve our flesh. But the desires of our spirit, those are connected to higher power, right? What God has for us is a greater plan. He has a plan for our life. And the way I think of God is He is always, He has a plan for not only your individual life, but for humanity as a whole. And so when we get these nudges, it's really like a calling from God saying, hey, I need you. And I need you to wake up at, 8 a.m. every morning, because your day is going to be more productive. I need you to do that, right? So it's stepping away from what our flesh wants and more into what our spirit wants. And ultimately, when we step into our spirit and our soul and, connecting more to God and what He wants from us, we fill our lives with so much abundance. And not only our lives get filled with abundance, but the lives around us get filled with abundance as well. So lean into your spirit and stay away from the flesh. Okay, the last tip that I have for you guys is the power of 1%. Now, this idea and this concept came from the book Atomic Habits. Now, and essentially what it is continuously moving in the direction of our goals. So like we talked about that tunnel vision, we have to have that tunnel vision in that we know the direction that we're going into, but we also have to understand the power of 1%, meaning we have to understand that every incremental movement in the direction of our goal is meaningful. When we try and understand the power of 1%, it's saying that if I do just 1% of what I need to do, just 1% one day, that is enough. The next day, if I do another 1%, then 2% has been accomplished. And now the third day, maybe I get an urge to do 2%, right? And so now I've had 4% of everything I need to do done, right? And so it's the power of 1% in that even 1% of movement, even the smallest thing, even the smallest action in the direction of your goal is meaningful, right? I think in today's day, we get so caught up in timing, right? We see so many people blowing up on social media. We see so many people, and young people as well, that have successful and amazing careers, and God bless them. We are so happy for them. But also at the same time, we have to understand that, everybody's journey is different. Don't get caught up in this idea of, well, they're this years old and they're so successful. How come I'm at this age and I don't have this and I don't have that and I don't have this? First of all, we don't even know their story. We don't know, what they've gone through, what work that they've put into to be successful. We are simply just seeing the harvest of their seed, right? And so comparison is really what breaks us down and breaks our spirit down, And so I really just want to encourage everybody that the smallest things that you do, they add up. Every small thing you do adds up. And if we keep moving in the direction that we want to, eventually with faith and movement, our goals will be achieved. It's almost like scientific, you know what I mean? It's like you can scientifically mark down, if don't calculate, you know, your success. We don't want to do that, but just the idea of like, if I show up every single day and do what I need to do, or not even every single day, but if I continuously decide to show up, right, and never give up, my friend, you're gonna get there. Like eventually, it might be 2 years, it might be 5 years, it might be 10 years, it might be 15 years, who cares? At the end of the day, you're gonna get there. So that is my advice, is never forget the power of 1%. Every small movement in the right direction adds up, and eventually you will get to the end of the road. You will get to the goal. So those are my 3 tips on how to change our habits. They aren't easy. They require practice, they require discipline, but really and truly, all of our dreams are possible. Every habit we have can be broken. It just requires faith through it all. Through these steps, have faith. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment your ideas. Don't forget to like, and most importantly, subscribe. And I will see you guys in another video. Bye. I love you.